Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden, from Anime Apocalypse, and welcome back to Top Anime News. This is episode 5 of Top Anime News, so if you've stuck around for all 5 episodes, that's awesome. I'm glad that you enjoy the series. If you do enjoy this series, you can go ahead and leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this, because it lets me know that you enjoy and want to see more of this. But yeah, let's just go ahead and hop right into this week's selection of Top Anime News. So first up, it's not really like anything super important, it's just kind of cool because it's about Netflix and sort of about how like anime industries view Netflix partnerships. So basically, the Tokyo Keizai online newspaper published an article that interviewed a number of anime industry insiders. Now these insiders have worked with Netflix on marketing or creating original anime programming. But what's interesting is Netflix does things pretty weird actually. So the management at one anime production company said, quote, "If the anime is a hit, it's a win for Netflix, but if it's a loss, it's our win." And that's pretty crazy. The production company is sort of wanting animes to flop because if they do, then they get more money. Now the reason for this is actually because under Netflix's licensing deals, the streaming rights are bought outright, meaning that the companies do not receive royalties no matter how many views the anime gets. So as an example, Netflix is like, hey, we want 7 Deadly Sins, and then the company's like, okay, then Netflix is like, here, we'll give you like $500,000 or whatever. It's not that much, I'm just saying as an example. Or maybe it is that much, I don't know. But basically, the anime company is just like, okay, and then that's it. The Netflix pays, and that's it. It doesn't matter how many views the show gets, and so I just think that's really crazy. And the thing is, Netflix does not actually make how many views a certain show gets public to the people they are buying stuff from. And that's crazy because the people who are selling the stuff is just like, okay, well, how much did our previous stuff make and stuff like that? And it's just like, well, we don't know. So it's just crazy how secretive and weird Netflix works and behind the scenes. Now there's more to this article if you want to read up on it, but that's all we're gonna do for today. And in case you didn't know, all the articles and links and stuff are down in the description, so if you wanted that, that's there for you. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are aware there's been a lot of protests and movements that have been going around, and one of those that happened in the anime community was the hashtag #AnimationPaidMe hashtag, which was on Twitter. Now, I'm not going to go into the numbers specifically, but basically what this was is it was people either working in the industry or who have worked in the industry, and they were sharing how much they were paid, and the whole idea was to spread awareness for how much people are being paid in other countries. Because believe it or not, in Japan, people in the anime industry aren't actually paid as much as people who work in the animation industry, say, in the US. And it's even worse in the Philippines. So this was just a huge thing with everybody sharing how much they were making. And this chart was actually made, and it was representing the annual income. And it's just shocking to see how much discrepancy there is between each of these things. Like, everybody is paid so low in the animation industry, and it's believable how they even survive on that much. In the Philippines, an animator is paid $8,500 per year. Imagine trying to live on that salary alone. It's insane, and we hope that this is just one step in the right direction to where industry is like, okay, we need to start making some changes and people need to start being paid more, because it's insane how little these people are paid. So yeah, I hope that this is just the beginning, because if we can start to see more movements, then that's great, because the people who work in animation deserve to be paid for what they're doing, because it's not an easy job. Alright, so next up is a question that I'm sure is on everybody's minds actually. How much longer is it taking anime to be produced due to COVID-19? I've been wondering that for the longest time, and now we sort of get an answer. So the Mainichi Shinbun's Maiten web online news outlet reported on Sunday that based on interviews it had conducted with a number of anime industry insiders, anime is currently taking twice as long to produce overall and 3 times as long to dub. Now the studios that were hit the hardest were the ones who were used to doing everything physically or, not relying too much on digital stuff. So because they just had to like suddenly flip a switch and say, oh, we're all online now, it was hard for them to adjust, so that's why it was taking so much longer. And they also said that it was gradually returning to normal, but it will also continue for a while yet. So yeah, I just think this was a question that everybody was wondering, like, how much longer is it taking things to be produced? Because it's just like, we don't know. So I think this is awesome that we get to finally find out. Alright, so before we move on, let's go ahead and take a look at the meme of the week. We did it, we jumped dimensions, but to which one? Let me ask this guy. Hey, does No Game No Life have a Season 2? Yeah, Season 2 is great, but Season 3, 4, and 5 are better. We're staying here. I feel this, like, I just recently watched No Game No Life, and I was like, because every single time I finish something, and I'm just like, well, is there a Season 2? I look it up, and it's like, you get the typical website where it's like, oh, we don't know yet, but it's likely going to happen in this date if they're going to do it, and it's like, okay, whatever. But, like, it definitely needs a Season 2. Like, how did they stop at Season 1? Like, it's so good, and they, I don't know, it's one of those animes where it's like, it's unique. The style, I think, is unique, because it's like, it has like a weird reddish blue sort of feel to it, and it's just, it's one of those shows, it's like sort of like Death Note, where it's like you have to think, and it's using more thinking and not so much of physical action, although there was some physical action in there too. So it's just, yeah, I want to see Season 2, and 3 and 4 and 5. So I don't know, let me know if you want to see that too. Alright, so next up is a little bit of a weird one, but I did want to cover it because it's sort of interesting. So, Bones Studio asks the public not to submit unsolicited story ideas. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware, especially since I just covered it a couple weeks ago, there was a Kyoto animation fire. It was like 10 months ago, but the person who did that was actually just recently arrested, and that's why I covered it on a news story like this. But basically, he was saying that the studio stole his novel, and there was not really any evidence to back this up, but it was just, you know, that was something that he was claiming. But because of this, Studio Bones released a statement saying, hey, don't send us story ideas because we don't accept them and stuff like that. They said, quote, this is to avoid any unfortunate disputes or controversies that may arise from any coincidental identicality or similarities between the submitted ideas and intellectual property originally developed by Bones Incorporated. So this isn't something that should have been said, it's not something that should have needed to be said, but I guess it goes without saying, like, hey, you can't just come up and say, hey, you stole my idea, so don't submit anything, don't do anything, because, you know, it could just cause confusion, and we don't want another Kyoto animation fire happening. Okay, last up for this week, we've got sort of a combined joint. Now, last week I covered something on ReZero and Sword Art Online, both games. This time it's about the new season for them. So ReZero Season 2 is set to premiere on July 8th, and that's awesome. And there was also a new trailer, so link to this article if you want to go check it out. It's down in the description. And Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld Part 2 premieres on July 11th, so just a couple days later. So this is awesome. We're starting to see the premieres, you know, coming around. And they were originally supposed to be out by now, but I mean, obviously because of COVID-19 they had to be pushed back, but that's okay because we're finally seeing them in July, and we can expect to see more that were put on hiatus for a bit back on the track for being released. So I think it's awesome. There were a bunch more animes that were like, hey, we're releasing soon, but I didn't know them, so I did not include them. So go check them out if you're interested. So last but not least, here are the COVID-19 delays and cancellations. So here's that. But anyway guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, you can leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!
それじゃ悪いわねボスフルハウスよ。あ、そうだな、確かに悪い。